What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be talking about 3 things you must do versus press. We're going to be talking about 3 technical tips that you guys do to get some separation versus a press DB. But also, guys, today I want to talk to you about a 50% off sale we're doing on my website, our 20 press releases video, 50% off today only. Check out that very first link in the description. It's a 45-minute long video with 20 different press releases, all the press releases I teach, specific technical points behind each one to get some separation, drills to work on it, and when to use it. We talk a lot about the technique here, but when to use it. 50% off today only. Check out that very first link in the description, guys. All right, let's get started with this video. So first things first, going to be talking about this release here from Keenan Allen, right? So now the first tip, the first thing you got to do when you're going against press is you got to threaten this DB and step outside of his frame, okay? So like think about it like this. Like everybody's driven in a car before, I hope. So you got left lane, middle lane, right lane. You guys want to step in these outside lanes to try to move this DB off the platform. That's how you guys want to think about it. But again, you got to be stepping there because that threatens him, but your upper half is what gets him to bite. So let's watch this thing full speed. So he gives a quick 1-2, able to take this outside release, and then if he's running an actual route, he's going to be able to get a lot of space right here. So it starts off of the line, right? So now, when Allen goes here, now I posted this yesterday on Instagram, and this guy, he does this little kick step behind, right? And everybody's like, oh, that's a false step. But really, that step just makes him come to balance. That step gives him balance. That step allows him to actually shoot out and shoot out wide. So I recommend that when you guys are working like a double up release, when you guys are even working like some kind of maybe a slide release where you're patient. But this step behind right here, right? This little kick step that he does, that allows him to shoot out, right? That allows him to get that explosion and be able to step into this far left lane. Because now think about this. A DB ain't going to move if you don't make him move, right? Because especially when it's a talented DB. A crappy DB, you could probably just give a little head fake and then just go. But this DB is going to be disciplined and he's going to be watching those hips. So if you don't sell this thing and step outside of his frame and actually sell that you're going outside right now and give a little head and shoulder fake and then step back inside like you're just going off of a wide step and don't actually throw your upper half, DB's not going to move. You see both steps right here from Keenan Allen are outside of the DB's frame, but inside of his frame. So now what a lot of people do is they take that to literally what I say, step outside of the DB's frame, and they'll step way the hell out here. They'll step and they'll reach and they'll drag this back foot and they have no explosion. It's about being sudden. You want to be sudden with your feet, but you also want to be explosive, but know that this upper half right here, these hips, these shoulders, that's what sells and that's what gets this DB to bite, right? So now make sure that when we do this move, we're stepping outside of the DB's frame. Upper half is what moves him. That's what gets him to jump. Let's watch this thing again full speed one more time. So he gives us a quick little 1-2. Get that DB to jump. Make sure we're stepping outside of his frame, okay? So now we're going to be talking about how to have that. So the second must-do tip is to make everything look the exact same, okay? So off the line especially, that's what's super important. So making everything look the same is one of the major keys to getting some separation because this DB in the whole game, more often than not, it's going to be the same guy covering you over and over and over again when it's man coverage, right? Especially if it's a man-heavy team. So he's going to be trying to get a read on you just like anybody else would be trying to get a read on you. So let's watch this thing full speed. So he gives this quick 1-2, gives that jab to the outside, breaks this thing off on this slant out, right? So now I'm not going to focus too much on the route. Obviously, that's a hell of a route by Diggs. But you see a lot of guys, if Diggs, this is something that you do maybe your backside of the play. Because when you're backside of the play, backside of run plays, right? Or maybe just backside, you know you're not getting the ball. Maybe it's a quick game concept to the right side. Quarterback ain't going to come all the way back to the left side of the field. You want to work things to set up other things, but it can't be too complicated. You want to have about 5 to 6 different things that you want to work through a game, and that's it. You stick to those 5, 6 things, but they look the same. The key to getting space is keeping him on his toes, keeping him guessing. Everything's a setup, right? You look at guys like Keenan Allen. They like to do that split release and then make a move off of it and go. You look at guys like Davante Adams. They like to do that little hezzy skip and then go or make a move off of it. And now we look at Stephon Diggs here. Watch his first step. So you see how he takes that quick little jab to the inside. That quick little jab to the inside, what's that like? That's like that one quick jab and you speed release, right? You take a jab, then you beat to the outside, right? So it's just a quick jab. I throw to the outside, I throw my upper half there, and that's what gets this dude to jump, right? But if you go here and you make sure that you step with that leg and you throw wide and you just catch yourself, you see again, very similar to what we were talking about. His shoulders, his body, everything's committed to the outside, his eyes, and he catches himself on that outside leg. And guess what? Where's that outside leg? Outside of his frame. That's something that we already talked about. But making it look the same. You make this build like you're just going one single jab, bursting up to the outside, trying to win this race. That's what gets him to turn those hips, and that's what will get him to jump because he's seen that before, fellas. He's felt your quickness. He's felt that quick jab and into that speed release. He doesn't want to get beat over the top again, or he knows that you're a fast guy and he's going to be over anxious, right? So I just put the brakes on and catch myself. Now let's talk about this here. Let's talk about what if Diggs were to go here and let's say he wanted to take an outside release and he went 1, throw himself to the outside, then catch himself with that right leg again, and he does like a 3-step break. That's really going to get this DB to jump. So that's 3 different releases, for one for an outside release, one for an inside release, and then another for an outside release again. So 1 step, 2 step, 3 steps. It's not super complicated. Somebody asked me the other day, like, you see, how come you see all these high school receivers doing all this fancy shit right here and then going up into a route, and you see NFL guys just keep it simple? Because they're in the NFL for a reason. They understand that it doesn't take that much to get off a press. It doesn't take that much to get this DB to move off his platform if your technique is correct, if your steps are correct, and if your upper half and all that is correct. So let's watch this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by Diggs, just making it look the same. Make it look like a single jab speed release. I catch myself, right? And you can build off of this with all the other releases that we talk about. So single jab, throw out wide, take the inside release, and get this DB to overcommit, making everything look the same. It is all a setup, okay? So now we're going to be talking about this kind of diamond release here from Allen Robinson. Not going to focus too much on the diamond. Yeah, that's a popular one that you could use on a slant route. I get that. But the thing that we're going to talk about is the third must-do thing off the line is you got to make the DB believe. Make the DB believe fade. You got to make it believe whatever you're trying to do. Maybe you're trying to make him believe inside release and you do like a dive release. So you want to make him believe whatever move you're trying to sell. And how you do that is by doing 3 things. You got to commit your upper half, so body language. You got to have speed, and you got to have a sudden change of direction. So let's watch this full speed. So he gives a little jab, 3 steps to the outside, pops this thing off, and accelerates over the middle and makes this catch. So now, let's talk about it. So he gives this little hesitation hop, right? This little hesitation skip, gives this jab to the inside. Because what is he trying to sell right now? Especially being down tight on the goal line. He's trying to sell goal line fade to the outside because this is a popular release. Again, it brings me back to that second tip. You want to make it all look the same, right? You want to make it look like you're attacking his leverage, then it's just a race to the inside. We want to attack him, move him off that platform, and then beat him to the outside. Now, how we get him to overcommit, how we make, because there comes a point, and every rep gone by a DB, he has to turn his hips. At a certain point, he has to turn his hips, and it's not based on a yardage. He's not like, oh, when he gets to 5 yards, then I'm going to turn my hips. It's based off of body language. How well can you sell it? How explosive can you be? But how fast can you get in and out of that cut? So you see how he gives this here? And he's taking 3 hard steps. So diamond releases where he would go left, right, then left. So he goes 1, 2, 3. And you see how he gives that little peek back with his eyes. That's another great thing to sell vertical. And you see this DB has his eyes high. He should be focused on those hips. But when you have your eyes high and you're looking at the eyes of the receiver, we're going to lose every single time. But again, what ties into this, right? You see how his body language is committed to it, and his strides are fast. He's not chopping his feet. What a lot of people do is they'll come off this kind of release right here and they'll go choppy steps. You see how he's taking full strides, full 3 steps. Now, when you guys this is why change of direction is so important. When you guys take a full 3-step break, like a full diamond release where you're running, you got to be sudden with your feet because the only way you're changing direction is when you just pop that thing in the grass right now. It's got to be a sudden cut. And you see how sudden he is with his left leg, pops this thing off, but we got that DB to commit his hips. Now, when you get, again, like I said, you want to make him believe it. When you get him to believe it, when you get him to turn those hips, we got to make sure that I take care of myself at the top of the break. I'm efficient with my cuts. I'm sudden with my feet. So I can get out of this least amount of time possible so I could accelerate and, again, widen the gap with this DB. That's a great job by Allen Robinson. Let's watch it again, full speed one more time. So make sure, whatever move we're trying to sell, whether it's just a straight up fade like we should always be selling, whether it's like a drag, whatever it is, we want to make the DB believe it off the line with my body language, with my speed, and be able to make him pay for it with the suddenness of my cut. So let's watch the thing again, full speed, hesitation, 3 steps to the outside, and break off on this diamond release. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, please leave those in the comments. And again, today only 50% off our 20 press releases program. 45-minute long video, 20 releases that you can use, right? I was talking about you only need 5 or 6, so this is a great way to have a million different tools in your arsenal for you guys to use in specific drills and when to use it. Again, link in the description, very first link, 50% off today only. Hope to get you guys on that soon. I'll see you guys next time.